under the sickly glow of a single amber bedside lamp in the storm-lashed Victorian bedroom. Anna pressed trembling fingers to her temples as her grandmother's whisper shattered the silence. "I never told you why your father left," rasped a frail voice, each word spinning Anna's memories into chaos. She recoiled, chest tightening as visions of empty hallways and unanswered pleas flooded her mind. Outside, thunder rolled like the march of unseen armies, shaking the dust from peeling floral wallpaper. Anna's heart thundered in response, betraying her with every frantic beat. She stumbled toward the narrow doorway, voice caught in a jagged gasp. "Why now?" she demanded, but only her question echoed back. The lamp's filament flickered, casting dancing shadows that twisted into mocking shapes. Anna knelt beside the trembling grandmother, fingertips brushing cold skin as regret and rage warred inside her. Lightning flashed against rain-streaked panes, illuminating a silver locket clutched in Anna's other hand. With her grandmother's last breath, a vow crystallized in Anna's soul. The hidden truth would be unearthed, no matter the cost. Barely conscious of the storm's fury, Anna found herself drawn into the dusty hallway that had once echoed with her father's laughter. Her fingertips trailed along chipped banister wood, each groove a memory she thought buried. The hush of midnight pressed against her chest as she paused before a faded family portrait framed in tarnished brass. In that stillness, she remembered her mother's lullaby, sung in a voice that trembled with unshed tears. Anna inhaled the scent of old floorboards and lavender sachets, allowing the ache of absence to settle in her bones. "I came here to find answers," she whispered to the empty corridor. Each breath felt like an apology, each heartbeat a reminder of the void she carried. Her shoulders sagged beneath the weight of dreams abandoned and promises broken, yet a spark of defiance flickered in her blue eyes. Though alone, her resolve formed like steel knitting in her spine. She would reclaim the fragments of her shattered past. Goblets of memory glazed her vision, but Anna steadied herself with a silent vow. No secret would escape her pursuit tonight. Guided by the quivering flame of a solitary candle, Anna descended into the study where dust danced in motes across rosewood shelves. Stacks of leather-bound journals beckoned with secrets sealed behind iron clasps. As she pried open the nearest volume, a brittle note fell to the floor, ink smeared, words half erased but devastatingly clear. "Forgive me, child." Her breath caught as the revelation cut deeper than any thunderclap. Memories of her father's brusque departures and cold farewells converged with guilt she never knew she carried. "He couldn't face the truth," Anna murmured, voice quavering against the hush of antiquity. The candle sputtered, oil sloshing as the wick struggled to ignite hope. Within trembling pages lay confessions of shame, of hidden sins that stained generations. Anna's fingertips traced the scars of her lineage etched into parchment, forging rage and compassion in equal measure. In that dim sanctum, she realized her quest would pit her against ghosts of the past, and perhaps against herself. In the silent attic chamber, Anna discovered a hidden compartment carved into a dusty oak trunk. Her trembling fingertips brushed aside rotted linen, revealing a satin-lined box bearing her father's initials. Within, a silver key and a folded letter bound by ribbon awaited her hands. As she unfolded the brittle script, the ink revealed her lineage's burden. Her father had fled to shield her from a curse whispered in midnight hushes. "My sacrifice was your salvation," the letter began, voice echoing through time. Anna's pulse thundered as betrayal twisted into bittersweet relief. Scenes of her father's desperation flooded back. His tear-streaked face, clandestine meetings under moonlight. She realized the villain she had condemned was the savior she needed. Above her, attic rafters groaned like ancestral voices, bearing witness to her awakening. Anna clasped the key to her chest, tears glinting with newfound clarity. In that suspended moment, she understood that truth could both heal and destroy. Clutching the silver key and the ribbon-bound letter, Anna stepped from the attic into the howling tempest outside. Sheets of rain lashed her face as wind tore through her hair, but she stood firm on the creaking porch boards. Each thunderclap felt like a summons, urging her forward into the night's embrace. Memories of her grandmother's final confession still pulsated behind her eyes, igniting fierce determination. "No more secrets," Anna vowed, voice lost in the roar of elements. Her leather boots found purchase in puddles that reflected fractured lightning bolts. The key felt weighty in her palm, a promise and a burden intertwined. She tightened the straps of her charcoal coat, its damp fabric clinging to her resolve. With a final glance at the shuttered windows of her ancestral home, Anna stepped onto the winding path leading into unknown darkness. Behind her, the old house stood silent, a mausoleum of lies awaiting her return. In that moment, the storm became her ally, driving her toward truth and redemption. Before Anna lay a silent clearing bathed in the pale light of dawn, dew clinging like fragile jewels to blades of grass. Her boots sank into mist-soaked earth with each tentative step, echoing memories of trudging home under a father's protective arm in summers long past. A shiver of solitude passed through her as the hush of breaking day pressed against her chest, filling the world with unspoken longing. She inhaled the crisp forest air, carrying faint whispers of pine resin and distant wood smoke. In the mist she glimpsed shadows that recalled her father's tall silhouette, softened by morning haze. The ache of absence twisted in her gut as she recalled his lullabies sung by campfire glow. Yet beneath the weight of loss, a quiet resolve glimmered in her blue eyes. Each breath felt like reclaiming a fragment of herself that slipped away with his departure. She stretched slender arms toward the sky, pores drinking in dawn's fragile warmth. Anna closed her eyes, letting hope and sorrow meld into a single ember of purpose. The clearing stood witness to her silent vow to heal the fractures in her heart by retracing every step he ever took. At that moment, the world seemed to hold its breath alongside her. She climbed the narrow stone steps that wound around the abandoned family mausoleum, each crumbling tread echoing her racing heartbeat. The carved marble panels bore names she scarcely dared to speak, their letters eroded by time and tears. Anna's fingertips brushed the cold stone, seeking contact with ancestors whose voices had faded into legend. The scent of moss and aged granite rose in the misty air, stirring a memory of her grandmother's gentle hand guiding hers in this very place. Fog curled around broken pillars, framing Anna in a cathedral of nature where sunlight struggled to penetrate. Her chest tightened with the weight of generational secrets, yet she stood tall, shoulders squared against the ghostly hush. She closed her eyes and let the hushed wind carry her a father's distant laughter, a sound she feared was lost. With each inhale, she anchored herself in the present, forging a bridge between her pain and the love that once sustained her. The mausoleum's arches seemed to resonate with her unspoken vow to uncover the truth buried beneath centuries of silence. Anna drew a steadying breath and stepped into the shadowed archway, resolve sharpening in her heart as the mist swirled at her heels. At the edge of the overgrown chapel, Anna paused beneath a moss-draped arch that framed a shattered stained-glass window. Pastel shards of red and blue filtered wan light, casting fractured patterns on her pale face. She pressed a palm against the cold masonry, feeling centuries of prayer and regret seep into her skin. Faint echoes of hymns seemed to drift from empty pews, as though the walls themselves mourned the losses within. Anna inhaled the musty scent of rotting wood and spilled candle wax, each breath tethering her to memories of whispered confessions shared within these walls. The creak of the door behind her startled her pulse, but she remained still, absorbing the chapel's reverent hush. In the distance, a single candle flickered on the altar, its flame stubborn against the damp gloom. Tears welled in her blue eyes, charged by both sorrow and determination. She recalled her father's promise to protect her from the church's darkest truths, and a fierce empathy bloomed in her chest. With steady resolve, she stepped across the threshold, letting the chapel's silence guide her toward the revelations waiting in its hidden corners. Beneath the sweeping branches of an ancient willow that guarded the edge of a moonlit lake, Anna spread out a worn leather journal on a flattened blanket. Her quill paused above parchment, trembling with purpose, as she transcribed fragments of her father's letter. The whisper of willow leaves in the night breeze sounded like her mother's lullaby, coaxing her into fierce vulnerability. Each inked word felt like a heartbeat, binding her sorrow and hope onto the page. Moonlight danced on rippling water, illuminating her determined expression and casting soft shadows across her slender face. Anna's navy coat rustled as she leaned closer, tracing each line with reverent concentration. Memories of stolen bedtime stories and secret teachings flowed through her veins, fueling the words she carefully chose. The lake's gentle lapping against the shore seemed to applaud her resolve to carry forward her family's legacy. She dipped the quill once more, sealing her vow with a final flourish as fireflies blinked around her like watchful spirits. In that hallowed solitude, she felt the currents of her past swirl into clarity, guiding her onward with newfound purpose. Long before dawn broke, Anna stood at the threshold of the ruined shrine under a star-flecked sky, heavy with summer warmth. Incense smoke curled around weathered statues as her trembling fingers lit a solitary charcoal chip. The fragrance of sandalwood and myrrh rose in a devout haze, mingling with her breath and steadying her racing pulse. Cracked mosaic stones beneath her boots bore symbols she had only glimpsed in faded portraits, their meaning resonating deep in her bones. As the ember glowed, she recited her grandmother's final words under her breath, each syllable an anchor to her soul. Firelight danced in her determined eyes, illuminating the silver key at her waist and the letter clasped against her heart. Shadows flickered like silent witnesses on the shale walls, honoring her silent plea for guidance. The shrine's broken arch stood like an invitation, promising truths stronger than any curse. With reverent solemnity, Anna stepped forward, ready to light all dark corners with her unwavering courage. The shrine exhaled its ancient breath as she crossed its threshold, the world settling into hushed anticipation around her. Under the garish glow of a flickering street lamp on the cobblestone avenue at twilight, Anna's heart hammered as she stared at the shuttered registry office's iron gate. She pressed the silver key against her palm. Then Anna said, "This time, I demand the truth." Her tone, a blade carving through dusk's hush. From behind the barred window, a gaunt caretaker in his 60s appeared, narrowing roomy eyes beneath a stained cap. Duncan said, "There's nothing for you here," his words laced with contempt. Anna's chest tightened as anger flared, memories of paternal absence twisting into fresh wounds that throbbed beneath her ribs. She rammed her fist against the gate, iron echoing through the empty square, heart pounding like a war drum, refusing to be silenced. Wind whipped around her, carrying acrid smoke from distant chimneys, turning her tears into rain that blazed across her cheeks like shards of fire. In that shimmering blur, Anna's resolve crystallized into fierce defiance, each pulse in her neck a vow to pry every secret loose from the town's somber history. As the night deepened, she withdrew into the surrounding alleyways, silhouette folded in determination, storms swirling both around and within her. Anna stalked through narrow, puddled alleyways until she reached the tavern's heavy oak door, studded with rust, oak grain swollen from damp, its iron hinges groaning. She yanked it open, sending a gust of cold wind ripping flickering lantern light across scarred wooden floorboards and silent patrons nursing ale in shadowed corners. At the bar, the caretaker crouched over an amber mug, hunched shoulders silhouetted against whip-streaked windows, dread pooling in Anna's gut. Anna's voice rang like a hammer stroke. Anna said, "Tell me where he went," each syllable cutting through smoky haze and murmured gossip. The caretaker froze, amber liquid quivering in his mug as he turned with hollow eyes, guilt and fear wrestling behind lines etched in his face. She stepped forward, coattails brushing sawdust, finger tapping the silver key at her waist, heart thundering against ribs in relentless rhythm. Outside, thunder rumbled as rain pounded tavern roof, leather boots leaving dark prints on straw-strewn floor, echoing Anna's unyielding resolve. In that charged hush, Anna realized every ally could be traitor. Every whispered story might conceal a blade. Her quest had become a battle for trust as well as truth. Clutching the soggy slip of parchment, Anna hurried through backdoor gloom toward the riverbank where a rickety footbridge shivered under moonlight. Each plank groaned beneath her weight as she advanced, Rivers roar echoing beneath steel cables slick with rain. Anna paused mid-span, heart lurching as water surged violently below, her reflection fractured in the black current. Holding the silver key tight, Anna said, "I won't falter," her voice firm against the storm's howl. The bridge swayed with each gust, cables vibrating like snarled nerves threatening to sever her path. She planted boots firmly, eyes locked on the ruined mill's silhouette across the water, its broken windows like hollow eyes promising both dread and salvation. Memory of her father's steady hand steadied her pulse, forging courage where doubt had once thrived. With each breath, Anna wove resolve into her bones, pressing onward through the trembling span toward truths ensnared in the mill's shadows. The mill's sagging door yielded with a tortured groan as Anna slipped inside, lantern flame quivering across rusted gears and rotting beams. Damp air reeked of oil and decay as shadows twisted into phantoms of her father's face, beckoning with silent accusation. Anna held the key aloft, its silver surface catching lantern glow while fear prickled her skin. Footsteps echoed on metal catwalks overhead, and Anna said, "Show me the way," voice trembling yet resolute. A draft rattled broken window panes, scattering dust motes that shimmered like restless spirits in her path. Heart pounding like war drums, she advanced past sagging pulleys and rust-streaked walls, each step a triumph over doubt. In the central chamber, she found a locked iron hatch etched with her family crest, its surface pitted by time and sorrow. A fierce surge of purpose burned in Anna's chest as she inserted the key, ready to unseal the darkness within and face the truth it held. With a final click that resonated through stagnant air, Anna lifted the hatch and peered into pitch-black stone steps spiraling downward. She descended into a subterranean vault where drips echoed like distant sobs, lantern flame dancing on damp walls slick with condensation. At the corridor's end, she discovered a glass display case protecting her father's crimson leather journal, its spine cracked by age. Anna reached forward, fingers brushing cold glass until verses scrawled in hurried ink shimmered beneath her gaze. She read confessions of forbidden rituals performed in desperate hope to break an ancestral curse, each word a blade slicing her heart. Anna's breath caught as the truth unfurled. Her father had bartered his soul to spare her from doom, a betrayal born of love. Tears mingled with rainwater dripping from her coat as she whispered, "I understand," voice breaking with sorrow and acceptance. In that solemn underground chamber, Anna felt both collapse and rebirth, standing on the threshold between loss and redemption as thunder roared above. Emerging from the subterranean vault, Anna blinked into a chamber walled with tarnished mirrors that stretched from slick stone floor to arched ceiling. Each reflection showed a different version of her father, stern in one pane, sorrowful in another, accusing in the next. As she stepped forward, the flickering lantern in her hand cast fractured light that danced across the mirrored faces, warping their features into something both familiar and monstrous. Her breath caught in her throat when one reflection moved without her prompting, lips parting to issue her name in a voice that echoed through the corridor like a distant memory. Anna's chest tightened as she raised the silver key, its metal teeth catching the lantern's glow and scattering shards of light across the glass panels. She remembered the journal's warnings of illusions meant to guard the truth, yet she hadn't expected her father's visage to stare back at her from every angle, each silent accusation stabbing at her soul. The stale air seemed to thicken as every heartbeat rang loud against the cold mirrors, leaving her suspended between the line of reality and hallucination. With trembling resolve, she pressed her palm against a cracked mirror, ready to shatter the illusions and reveal the path hidden behind deceptive glass. Beyond the mirror's fractured surface, Anna stepped through a concealed archway into a circular cell where damp mist curled at her ankles and ancient symbols were carved into the granite floor. At its center hovered an ethereal apparition of her father, translucent and weary, eyes ablaze with sorrow and regret. Anna staggered as the ghost extended a skeletal hand, its form rippling like heat haze over the cold stone. The apparition spoke in a voice both familiar and distant. "I bound myself to protect you from the curse, but my sacrifice only deepened the darkness." Each word reverberated off the chamber walls, mingling with the drip of water echoing through hidden tunnels. Anna's heartbeat thundered as she sank to her knees, emotions colliding in a maelstrom of betrayal and compassion. Guilt and understanding warred in her emerald gaze as the ghost's confession illuminated truths she had resisted for so long. Around them, carved runes glowed faintly in phosphorescent moss, revealing a ritual circle that bound father and daughter in a fate neither could escape. In that vaulted crypt, Anna realized the very person she had mourned was the architect of her pain and redemption, his love forged through an unbreakable bond of sacrifice and sorrow. With trembling fingers, Anna traced the glowing runes in the moss, each symbol a fragment of forbidden lore that her father had hidden for decades. Her lantern trembled as she lifted a weathered grimoire from a stone pedestal, carved with interlocking triangles and a crescent moon. Inside the tome's brittle pages, she discovered her father's annotations detailing rituals performed to seal away a malignant spirit linked to their bloodline. His elegant script confessed that the curse was not inherited by Anna, but was bound to her mother's lineage, erased only by the sacrifice of his own flesh and memory. As Anna read aloud the final incantation, syllables leapt from her tongue with uncanny precision, unlocking a hidden compartment in the crypt's floor. A silver chalice, tipped from concealed recesses, its surface etched with her family crest and stained dark by sacrificial oil. Anna's breath hitched as she lifted the chalice, the air around her humming with latent energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. In that charged silence, she realized the real villain was not a malevolent stranger, but the very curse her father chose to confront, and the power it now passed to her. Moonlight filtering through a narrow shaft above cast slanted beams on the mossy altar, highlighting droplets of condensation that glittered like tears of remembrance. Beneath the vaulted ceiling, Anna poured a single drop of rainwater into the silver chalice, her pulse echoing in the silence as the liquid touched the engraved crest. The water shimmered with iridescent hues, swirling into a vortex that projected ghostly images of her mother's final moments in a garden bathed in moonlight. Anna gasped as she recognized her mother's silhouette cradling a newborn, herself, while chanting words of protection woven into ancient verse. A tremor rattled the chalice as the echoes of her grandmother's voice whispered from the stone walls. "The blood of innocence must bear the curse, or it will consume us." Light spilled from the chalice in pale blue rays, illuminating a hidden mosaic beneath a trapdoor, depicting her parents entwined in ritual sacrament. Each tile seemed alive, shifting to reveal a prophecy. Only by embracing her inherited power could Anna break the curse without destroying those she loved. A torrent of emotion washed over her, grief, anger, and the intoxicating pull of magic that surged through her veins like wildfire. Drips of water from the chamber's ceiling struck the chalice's rim, each echoing droplet punctuating the gravity of the choice before her. With the chalice's glow illuminating her determined expression, Anna realized she stood at the crossroads of her destiny, to forge a new path or succumb to the weight of generations. Exiting the crypt, Anna rose into a moonlit clearing where the caretaker from the registry lurked beneath a gnarled willow, cloak billowing in the midnight wind. His gaunt features glinted in silvered light as he revealed a sigil branded on his palm, the same symbol that pulsed from the chalice moments before. Duncan said, "I followed your father's command to guard his legacy, but the curse twisted my loyalty into blind obedience," voice low with remorse. Anna's heart constricted as she recognized the anguish in his hollow eyes, a mirror of her own grief and the burden he had carried in silence. The wind whispered warnings through the willow's rustling leaves, and Anna felt the weight of every secret she had unearthed pressing upon her chest. She tightened her grip on the silver key and journal, resolve steeling her voice as she said, "We end this tonight, no matter how many betrayals lie ahead." As thunder rolled across the clearing, the caretaker knelt, offering his branded palm in penance, the moonlight illuminating tears on his weathered face. In that fragile moment of shared redemption, Anna saw the hidden bonds of fate that had entwined their lives, and understood that forgiveness would be the key to breaking the cycle of darkness. Lightning arced overhead, briefly revealing the distant silhouette of her ancestral mansion, looming like a reminder of all that remained at stake. Anna pushed open the massive oak doors of her ancestral hall, the silver key's teeth still warm in her palm as the air shivered with latent magic. Marble columns rose like silent sentinels, their veined surfaces glinting beneath a swirl of candle flames set in wrought iron sconces. Shadows pooled at the base of a grand dais where the chalice and journal lay, a perfect trap for her resolve. She inhaled the scent of aged stone and burning tallow, adrenaline sharpening her senses into crystalline focus. With measured steps, she advanced across the black and white checkered floor, each footfall echoing like a challenge to the darkness that had haunted her bloodline. Anna lifted the crimson journal and thumbed its final passage, voice steady as she pronounced the first words of the binding ritual. "By blood and sacrifice, I reclaim what was stolen," she intoned, her tone ringing through the vaulted chamber. Thunder rumbled outside, punctuating her vow as flickering candlelight danced across her determined face. Anna placed the silver chalice upon a marble pedestal carved with her family crest, letting rainwater and tears commingle in its brim. The journal's final incantation fluttered from her lips like a solemn oath. "Spirit bound by blood, answer now." As her words faded, the liquid surface trembled with pale blue light that pulsed in time with her heartbeat. Candle flames tilted as if caught in an unseen breeze, casting dancing silhouettes on the hall's soaring arches. Anna's pulse quickened when the chalice spilled luminescence across the journal's open pages, illuminating her father's final confession in stark relief. She steadied her voice, repeating the ritual's second verse while raising the chalice above her head. "Let the truth be revealed and the curse undone," she intoned, eyes blazing with unyielding will. In that moment, the hall held its breath, poised on the knife edge between salvation and ruin. The pale light coalesced above the chalice into a spiraling mist that solidified into a towering figure draped in tattered robes, her father's spirit reshaped by the curse. Anna staggered as rainwater pooled at her boots, the echo of thunder drumming through her veins. The apparition's hollow gaze met hers, lips parting to echo her own words in a fractured whisper. "By sacrifice you summoned me." Each syllable vibrated against her soul, conjuring memories of loss and love, entwined like twin serpents. Anna swallowed her fear and squared her shoulders, voice clear as she issued the third incantation. "By my choice you are released," she declared, voice ringing like steel. The spirit's form shuddered, robes unraveling as sorrow and relief warred in its ghostly eyes. In that charged hush, Anna realized she held the power to redeem or condemn the very blood that bound them. Lightning flashed through the stained glass windows, fracturing colored shards across Anna's determined face as she intoned the ritual's final binding words. "Father, take your rest, let our bloodline heal." Her voice wavered only once before steel settled in her tone. The apparition trembled, spectral tears forming as chains of light snaked from chalice to ghost, anchoring it to release. The hall groaned under the weight of ancestral power, crystalline shards of memory raining from the spirit's form. Anna's heart pounded as she raised the chalice high, pouring the last drop of water into the mosaic of her family crest on the floor. The runes inscribed there blazed white-hot, binding curse upon curse and forging a new covenant of hope. As the spectral chains closed, the ghost bowed its head, voice fading into a final whisper of love and farewell. "Thank you," it breathed, its essence dissipating like mist at dawn. With the last echo of thunder, the hall fell silent, and the candles steadied, their flames now serene and unwavering. Anna lowered the chalice, its glow extinguished as morning light crept through vaulted windows, bathing the marble in soft gold. She placed the journal and chalice side by side on the dais, symbols of sacrifice and redemption entwined. Anna pressed trembling fingers to her chest, feeling the emptiness left by the curse replaced by a gentle warmth, hope newly kindled. She exhaled, voice barely above a whisper, as the final line of her story rang through the stillness. "In truth's embrace we are finally free." Outside, birds heralded a new dawn, their songs drifting through open doors like a benediction. Anna stepped onto the checkered floor, each footfall now light with promise, leaving behind a chamber haunted no more but forever marked by the power of her choice. Anna stepped onto the dew-slicked cobblestones before her ancestral hall as dawn's warm light spilled across the marble steps. Her silver key and crimson journal rested in her right hand, their weight now a symbol of hope rather than burden. The air tasted of fresh pine and melted frost, a stark contrast to the storm-swept shadows that once haunted these grounds. Soft amber rays filtered through the tall arched windows, casting long, gentle bands of light across the grand facade. Anna inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of generational sorrow lift with each breath, replaced by calm resolve. She traced a fingertip along cool brass doorknobs, memories of fear and regret giving way to quiet confidence. In the hush of dawn, distant birds began their morning song, weaving threads of promise into the stillness. Anna said, "Our story ends here," voice steady and clear as she turned the key and pushed open the ornate doors. Inside, the hall invited her forward with silent welcome, each footstep echoing renewed purpose. At that threshold, she felt the final echoes of the curse dissolve, leaving only the promise of new beginnings. Beyond the grand doors, Anna found the marble foyer bathed in slanted gold light that warmed its checkerboard floors. Ornate sconces flickered in silent salute as her boots clicked like gentle drumbeats on polished stone. She removed her charcoal coat, draping it over a gilded console, while her wool scarf fluttered in a soft breeze from open windows. Sunbeams revealed motes of dust dancing in the air, each particle a testament to time's quiet passage. Anna folded the journal closed and placed it beside the chalice on a marble pedestal, symbols united at last. Her emerald eyes shone with tears of release, grief transformed into gratitude for the bonds that endured. In the hushed expanse, she pressed a hand to her chest, feeling blood and magic settle into harmony. Anna whispered, "I am home," her voice gentle yet resolute as the hall embraced her return. Through the stained glass panes, morning light painted multicolored patterns that heralded a fresh chapter. With serene grace, she strode toward the exit, leaving behind shadows to follow her no more. After leaving the hall, Anna wandered the misty grounds to the ancestral mausoleum, where family tombstones stood in quiet vigil. Gray stones bore names worn smooth by centuries, yet Anna carried fresh lilies in trembling hands. She knelt upon damp earth, petals brushing moss as she arranged the bouquet before her grandmother's engraved plinth. Cold stone greeted her knees, but her heart burned with warmth born of remembrance rather than regret. Sunlight pierced low clouds, its golden shafts illuminating dewdrops that clung like whispered blessings. Anna closed her eyes and murmured her grandmother's lullaby, each word a thread reconnecting past to present. A gentle breeze stirred the lilies, petals trembling as if offering silent gratitude for her vigil. Anna said softly, "Your story lives on," voice rich with reverence as she pressed the final bloom into the moss. She rose slowly, brushing soil from her palms and leaving behind a testament to love's enduring power. In that sacred moment, the mausoleum's hush became a sanctuary of healing rather than sorrow. Continuing her journey, Anna entered the ivy-clad chapel, where morning light filtered through cathedral windows, painting abstract mosaics on worn pews. Patches of ivy clung to stone arches, mixing emerald leaves with cool gray masonry. She knelt at the marble altar, candle soot still etched on the white surface from previous rites. Anna lifted a wooden match and struck it, flame flickering to life as the chapel inhaled a breath of sacred fire. The candle's warm glow spread across her face, highlighting tears that glistened like starlight. She placed the candle alongside fresh greenery on the altar, its silent vigil signifying both end and renewal. Anna whispered prayers of forgiveness and hope, her voice a soft melody weaving through vaulted silence. Dust motes danced in the beam of light above her, each movement echoing newfound peace. Rising gracefully, she turned toward the open door where golden daylight beckoned her onward. Behind her, the chapel stood eternal, its stones now witness to a redeemed soul rather than broken hearts. At last, Anna returned through familiar corridors to the bedroom where the amber lamp awaited her return. She extinguished the lamp with gentle fingertips, letting dawn's pale light fill the room in lieu of artificial glow. The brass bedpost's cool curve greeted her as she settled beneath freshly laundered linen that smelled faintly of lavender. Anna clasped the crimson journal against her chest and placed the silver key on the nightstand, tokens of victory and closure. She closed her emerald eyes and exhaled, muscles uncoiling from months of relentless pursuit. Outside, birdsong wove through open windows, heralding a world no longer bound by shadows. Anna said, "Tomorrow, we begin anew," voice drifting into restful stillness before sleep claimed her. Her steady breathing matched the rhythm of dawn's gentle pulse, each inhale a testament to healing. Moonlight fading, the room stood in tranquil anticipation of her dreams, unhaunted and free. In the quiet sanctuary of sleep, Anna's story found its peace, scarred but unbroken, ready to embrace the light. Anna slowly awoke as soft gold of sunrise spilled across her face through gossamer curtains, and the scent of lavender lingered in the air long after the storm had ceased. She sat upright on the crisp linen bed where the silver key and crimson journal rested beside the nightstand, feeling in her chest a calm rhythm that replaced the furious thrum of fear. In that quiet moment, Anna closed her green eyes and whispered a silent blessing for every shattered fragment of her past that had been gathered and mended by her own hand. Beyond the window, birds heralded morning with joyous trills as a gentle breeze carried petals of lilac across the threshold, transforming the room into a tapestry of hope and renewal. She rose and pressed her fingertips to the journal's leather cover, its worn spine a testament to sacrifice, memory, and the unbreakable bonds now shining like polished silver. With steady breath, Anna stepped from the sanctuary of her ancestral chamber into a world reborn, each footfall echoing a vow to live freely and honor the truth she had reclaimed. In the hush of dawn's embrace, she felt the warmth of hope settle in her bones. Anna descended the mossy steps of her ancestral hall into the garden courtyard where early blossoms trembled beneath dew-laden branches, the air alive with promise and renewal. Her gaze swept across sculpted hedgerows and stone fountains reflecting dawn's rosy hues, each curve and spill of water a testament to time's gentle patience. As she crossed the fountain's edge, the caretaker appeared, trailing behind like a silent sentinel, his branded palm now faded, yet still carrying the weight of his penance. Anna turned with a warm smile, extending her hand in forgiveness as she said, "Your loyalty freed us both," her emerald eyes brimming with compassion that banished the last shadows of doubt. Together they walked through arching trellises of climbing roses, petals drifting in a fragrant cascade around them, and weaving a tapestry of grace upon the ancient stone. Birds spiraled overhead, their song rising with the sun into a chorus of hope that Anna matched with every breath, feeling the burdens of family and curse dissolve like mist. In that vivid dawn, she realized that healing was not a solitary path but one shared, each step forward a vow to carry light into every heart she met. Atop the emerald hill beyond her family's lands, Anna paused to survey the rolling fields and distant peaks drenched in early sunlight that painted the world in hues of gold and jade. The silver key and crimson journal rested in her satchel, their burdens now lightened by the truth she carried forward with steady purpose etched into every step. She closed her eyes and felt the breeze whisper across her skin, as if the land itself breathed with relief at the lifting of ancient sorrows. Far below, the river glinted like a ribbon of silver winding through the valley she had once crossed under storm's fury, now calm and bright beneath the rising sun. Anna stretched her arms wide, letting the vast sky cradle her hopes, each heartbeat resonating with potential and the echo of lives she had touched. In that silent vigil, she honored both loss and love as inseparable tides shaping her destiny, forging empathy from pain and courage from remembrance. With a final exhale, Anna stepped forward along the crest of the hill, her silhouette joined to the horizon like a promise that tomorrow would be kinder than yesterday. She then made her way through a tranquil woodland glade, where sunbeams sifted through young oak leaves, illuminating a simple white marble headstone, engraved with her father's name. Soft moss cushioned her boots as she knelt beneath the trees, the journal open on her lap like a bridge between past and present, carrying every secret into the light. Anna traced the carved letters with solemn fingers, whispering words of gratitude and forgiveness in a voice that trembled with both sorrow and relief. A gentle breeze stirred the pages of the journal, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth into her lungs, and reminding her of all that had been lost and found. She placed a single lily upon the headstone's base, its white petals a beacon of hope beneath the emerald canopy, swaying with silent applause. Anna rose, resting her hand on the cool marble, eyes shining with tears that spoke of healing as much as farewell, each drop a testament to love's unbreakable lineage. In that hushed woodland sanctuary, she felt her father's presence not as an absence, but as a guiding warmth woven into the forest's gentle breath. Anna rose in the golden light of late morning, gathering her satchel with meticulous care. Crimson journal, silver key, small vial of lake water, and a single lily from her grandmother's garden. She tightened the straps of her charcoal coat around her slender frame, feeling its familiar weight settle like protective armor woven from both hardship and triumph. At the wrought iron gate of her ancestral estate, she paused to trace the marble pillars with reverent fingertips, watching dawn's amber glow illuminate every carved curve. The caretaker stepped forward from the garden's shadowed edge, offering a humble bow and a soft smile that spoke of shared burdens laid to rest. Together they stood in companionable silence as the morning breeze stirred wildflowers at their feet, petals drifting through air now free of curse. Anna inhaled the scented breeze, freedom, forgiveness, and unwavering hope, and felt each memory of loss transform into a guiding star within her heart. As she crossed the threshold onto the sunlit lane, her boots kissed dew-sparkled grass, every step a vow to honor truth, compassion, and the unbreakable bonds of love. The light we once feared to face has become the compass that guides my soul.